everyone. Welcome back to our new educational episode with Inlingua La Rochelle from France.
Good.
Our speaker today will be Mr. John, the president of this institution, and I'm Jones, marketing specialist from Net24.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending this meeting today. I would like to present generally the opportunity of studying for your students to study in France, and for you as an agent to increase, well, first to develop a new destination with France, because probably some of you do not work with, do not offer studies in France yet, and we will show the opportunity of studying in France. So, Inlingua is a network of language schools established in 1968, so for more than 50 years from now. We have a specific method of teaching languages, but I will not present this method now. We can develop later for those who want. The network for at Inlingua is more than 300 schools in 40 different countries. Now I represent Inlingua La Rochelle in France. This is the only Inlingua school in France offering French courses all over the year and pathways with a lot of different universities and schools. I would like to show during this presentation how you can increase the visa acceptation rate with us, because we have a complete package which can be very useful. Well, we will see later that the schools we work with offer the opportunity, offer English tracks or French tracks. That means that it's possible to study in English in France, but we believe that there is a big interest for your students to study in France, in French, because they will have a third language, a strong third language, and they will have a different profile, an additional capacity compared to those who study in English all over the world. Some information about France. That's the seventh economy in the world. More than 6 million people outside France are employed by French companies. More than 45 companies are set outside France, French companies, in a lot of countries. So those who have a French diploma and the knowledge of the French culture and language can easily knock the door of a French company around the world, or also take benefit on the large use of French, especially in Africa. I want to explain that France is inside the Bologna process. That means that there is an agreement with 47 different countries offering the same standard of studies. The recognition of a diploma inside these countries is very high. I mean, it's easy to make a bachelor in France and then move to Czech Republic, for example, and study. There is a recognition inside this system. They have introduced the LMD system. L means licence, bachelor, master, doctorate. And the organization of studies in these 47 countries is follows the same structure. That's quite interesting. And also there is a system of credits, ECTS. Every year the students will have credits that can be used in another country inside the Bologna system. That's quite interesting. Of course, having a visa for studying in France offers a Schengen visa, which means that the student will be able to move to travel for pleasure or whatever inside a large number of countries. I present the frame for studies in France. We consider any time the number of years of studies after what we call baccalaureate, the end of higher education, okay? The beginning of higher education, sorry. So there is a possibility of doing BTS, 2 years, or license bachelor's. It's exactly the same, 3 years. The master is additionally 2 years, so in total 5 years, and doctorate 8 years in total. I regularly have question about medicine that's almost 10 years up to 12, 15 for those who want to have some specialties. So it's very long studies in France. That's the frame. And as I said, the same inside Bologna system, Bologna countries. We have a large network of partners. We offer pathways, but more generally with private schools. Why? Because with public school, we do not have any guarantee of enrollment. That's quite difficult and long to have an answer. And we cannot help the student. With our partners, we can call physical people we know. That's not only online and just wait for an answer, anonymous answer. We are connected to real people. We know, we have their name, phone number, email, and we can push an application for a student. And if something's wrong, we can go to another school. With the public, that's more difficult. I will explain this now. We will compare bookings with public university. The process starts every year by mid-October until the end of January. And the student, before the end of January, should have the proof of B2 language level of French. That means that the exam should be done 1 month later, by the end of December, in order to be able to have the document, the diploma, before the end of January every year. Each student will choose 3 different universities, no more than 3, give his preference number 1, 2, 3, and will receive the answer for the preferred university in April, for the second choice in May, and the third in June. But you have to know that last year, 12,000 students, French students, didn't have place in university because there is not enough place in public university in France. And possibly the student will have a place, but perhaps not. And we can't help the student. That's an application online. We have no name, no email, no phone number to call and know what happened. We just have to wait. And the process is long, starts in mid-October until June. Sometimes agents or parents say, we will try public university, and in case we do not have acceptation, we will start the process with private school. But mid-June is very late for having a place for the next intake of September. And that's quite dangerous as a process. That's the reason why we prefer working with private schools as a partner, we are used to receive an answer within 4 weeks when we have every document. Now, we will compare the fees for studying in France in the public system and the private system. We see that a license will cost a little bit less than 3,000 euros a year. The master will be around 4,000 euros, a little bit less. That's for public. We have private schools offering studies per year between 4,000 and 10,000 a year. So that's more expensive, but the number of students per class is absolutely different. In the private system, around 25 per class, while in the universities, they could be 200 in an amphi, in a very large room. That's absolutely a big difference. And also, as I said, we have a more guarantee to have a positive answer, and we have the answer very rapidly. So the price is more expensive, but less than what we observe in Canada or United States, of course. So now I will explain more what we offer as Inlingua. First of all, this is a map of France. Here we are in La Rochelle on the Atlantic coast, 3 hours from Paris by speed train, TGV, 2 hours from Bordeaux, the main city close to La Rochelle. A very attractive city, third city in France for the quality of life, ranked first, the best place to study in France because of the quality of life. The quality of life for students means the distance from the beach, which is, we are in the student area and we are set 600 meters from the beach. That's the main advantage. As I said, we have a lot of students in La Rochelle, not in our school, but in the whole city, 14,000 students in the city. That means that the atmosphere in the city is very young, very good place for studying. Also, that's interesting to know that those who have a visa for studying in France are allowed to work. No more than 20 hours a week, but they are able to work. The visa should be 4 months or more, okay? And they can start working from the very first day. The salary, minimum salary, is a little bit more than 11 euros per hour. That's quite helpful for a student to work for paying his studies. Okay, we will explain later, but the budget for living in La Rochelle is quite low if we compare it to big cities such as Paris or Marseille or Nice. That's much cheaper, probably 30% cheaper, because La Rochelle is a small city, very well known in France, very popular, but only 80,000 inhabitants. That's a very small city, but very attractive, very well known. That's the reason why the budget for living is quite low. Okay. Our school has a recognition as a label qualité fleu. That means that we are recognized as we have a very high quality for teaching the language and welcoming the students. That's important because for the embassy of Campus France, this recognition helps a lot for having the visa. Now, I said briefly that for those who want to study in French should have a level of French, as you can imagine, and the B2 level is required. For us, we have a specific method, small groups, no more than 10. The duration of the course is quite reduced. For a complete beginners and student without a Latin language, I mean, a Spanish speaker has more chance to learn the language rapidly. Those who do not have this Latin language as a mother tongue need 1 year, 1 full year for getting the B2 language. Okay. Those who have a level, those who learn French before they are apply with us, will benefit on a free assessment, level assessment with us. We do it with an online test plus an interview with a teacher on Skype or Zoom or whatever. We prepare an appointment. That's a one-to-one appointment for 20 minutes with a teacher. The idea is to recommend the duration of the course in order to get the B2 level. Okay, that's not the parents or the agents who are able to decide the duration of the course. We prefer to take time. We do not charge anything. That means that if the student do not apply, we will not charge him or her. But that's a good information for you to recommend the right duration. So according to this information, you can see that, for example, a student with A2 level when applying needs 6 months only. We offer 20 hours a week. That's quite an intensive course for level A0, A1, and A2. As soon as they have the B1 level, start in the B1 level, we offer 25 hours. We add to the morning class 5 hours for preparing the exam, which can be DELF or TCF. We have been recently accepted as a TCF exam center. That means that we can schedule new dates for our students in 1 week notice. It's very, very important and easy for our students to try again to do another exam if they need some additional points, for example. And also we add 5 hours for preparing the entrance to university, for example, to be able to listen to French teachers speaking fast and making notes in French, be able to read a book in a short period of time. That's an expertise, and they need to practice this capacity. We offer sorry, the dates are not the right dates. We that's I can see here that we present the dates in 22. That's an error. I'm so sorry. Every year we have an intake in January, April, July, and October. And we know we can advise the duration of the course according to the level. We know exactly when they will take the final exam. That's important for those who want to enter the French school. The majority of intakes in the French study high education system, they start in mid-September, October, and sometimes, rarely, but it's possible to have some intakes in January in some schools, okay? Sorry for the mistakes here. I can, of course, easily send you the good intakes dates by email after the meeting. The price. The price depends on the duration of the course and of course the level when they start with us. So for A0s, those who have no knowledge at all, the price is 10,940 euros. Will be increased a little bit in 24, but for until the end of June this year, those who book a course for next year for 24 will benefit on this price until at least the end of June. Okay. The students already having a B1 level will only pay for one term 3,600 euros. Rapidly, we offer pack of services. That's quite exclusive. We do not know other language schools offering this system. We have pack of services to help the students living in France. The pack minimum and compulsory is 140 euros. That's the enrollment fee. But those who want to pay tranquillity can benefit on a lot of services. I will explain now. For example, we offer a guarantor service. That's very helpful for those who want to rent an apartment. Without this service, this is a contract between a company and the owner of the apartment, which receives a guarantee, official guarantee that the renting will be paid every month. That's absolutely important. Without this, the owner will probably ask for 1 year of renting paid in advance. That's very, very difficult and expensive. That way, the parents can pay an installment every month the renting. That's absolutely important. This carte vitale, every French citizen has the same card. I mean, the students, international student can benefit this French social security exactly at the same level as French citizen. Okay, that's very, very powerful. Yesterday, I was in an hospital for an exam, very, very expensive, and I paid absolutely nothing. I presented this card and absolutely free. When you go to the doctor, you have to pay the doctor, but 1 week later, the Social Security refunds you 100%. So that's very powerful. Also, very interesting, that are just examples of what we offer. We help the students having APL, which means that's a fund, a public fund, which pays up to 30% of the monthly renting of a student. And that's absolutely very important. For example, we have students at the school paying their rent at 650 euros a month, but they receive a little bit less than 200 euros from the government every month. That's very helpful, really, up to 30%. So if I come back to the previous page, those who pay tranquillity will benefit on all these services. We go to the bank to open a bank account with them. On the very first day, they have a French SIM card for their phone. A lot of help for them. This is not compulsory. Those who want to deal with this, with the administration by themselves, can do it. But we have one person full-time at the school to help the student in these services, okay? Etude Pack has a cost of 650 euros. What does this include? This includes a translation, official translation of every document important, diplomas, notes, recommendation letter, birth certificate, everything is translated by Inlingua with official translators. And also we will do the equivalence of their diploma into the French system. I explained before LMD, which recognition can have a student who started his studies before in a foreign country with the French system. There is an official body in Paris. We have to pay for this. We have to translate documents, so we'll deal with everything. That's why we charge 650 euros. Also, we'll present the students, thanks to a questionnaire, will explain what he would like to study. And we will present 3 different schools. The student will explain what he prefers, and we will start enrollment with this specific school. That's why we charge a fee. I don't know if now some agents are from French-speaking territories. In case we, in this situation, we reduce the fee for études because most of the time we do not have to translate documents. But we can discuss this later. Okay. The pathway. We are partners with now about 30 different schools offering 120 different campuses. That's a lot of diplomas in a lot of careers. Okay, it can be cinema, it can be fashion, it can be cooking, it can be technology, architecture, a lot of career possible. Okay, and this is all over France. The starting point with our schools, the entrance in France is with us in La Rochelle for studying the language or improving the language. But the pathways offer possibilities in a lot of different schools, okay, in France, all over France. When we have a students with us, we always offer accommodation. This is very important to increase the chance to have accommodation, to have a visa, sorry. And when they are accepted in a school, for example, in Lyon, we are also able to help the student finding an accommodation in Lyon. We have a big database all over France for students' apartments and studio and co-location and everything. So we can, the students will benefit on our service for studying in La Rochelle, but also for the school, he will be enrolled in another city. That's quite the end of my presentation. A very important point before I explain this page. The way of increasing the visa acceptation is to not only book a language course, but to have the full career, the full studies accepted. I mean, we can present a student to a school who will give an acceptation letter, a conditional acceptation letter, explaining we will accept these particular students in September 24 at the conditions the students have a B2 level in September 24, not when doing the booking. That's the main difference with the public. If you remember, in January, for the public, the student should attach his proof of B2 level. With the private partners, they do the interview in English, the live interview as any time in English or in French, if they are able. And the acceptation, the letter of acceptation mentions that the level of B2 will be required before the intake in September or October for the next year. This gives a lot of time for the student to study the language, and for the parents, that's a guarantee that they travel abroad, they invest in learning a language, but they have the security to know exactly where and in which school they're gonna follow, they're gonna be studying. Okay, so now more commercial issue. We have a unique offer in France. That's, I'm sorry to say that, but there are no other language schools offering this package with pathways, with partners, and this package of services. That's what we observe. So we can be an entry point for studying in France. We used to say on the brochure, of course, I will send you the link to the brochure, the gateway for studying in France. We also accept, as we are not a very big school, we are a boutique school. We only accept a limited number of agents per each country. We don't want to have 10, 12 agents in a specific country. We want to have a small number of active agents. That means that they know us very well. We help them to for doing the promotion, and we work. We have a strong link with our limited number of agents per each country. The commission are attractive, and they are increased with the number of students. I mean, as soon as the agent is able to book 3 or 6 students per year, that's not a lot, the range of commission is increased. And finally, we have, I can't present this now, I want you to have time for questions, but we have a very an amazing agents area with a lot of information and training videos and a database of the partner schools. That's a very important tool for knowing which school we work with and which diplomas are offered. We want the agents to be trained. I mean, we take time for helping them to deliver a lot of information. And as soon as we explain the enrollment process, which starts with questionnaire for the students. What do they want to study? Which diploma do they have already? Which pack of services are they choosing? After that, if they have there are 2 situations. They have no knowledge of French, or they have a knowledge in French. If they know French a little bit, we will do the test. After that, we advise the duration for the course, and we make a quote. We clearly make a quote rapidly after the test. And as soon as the students accept this quote, we ask for the payment of 25% of the course, not accommodation. Because as we have a recognition as quality school, this is forbidden to us to make an invitation letter if the students didn't pay a single euro. But we will refund in case they are not accepted in a school, or if they do not have the visa, we refund absolutely 100%. We only keep 140 euros for administrative fees. That's a clear process that we explain during our training, and that's a security for your students to increase the chance to have a visa.
Thank you so much, John. I have one additional question for you. It's not about this process. It's just because you are 600 meters near the sea. So how's the weather there?
Okay. Well, we have 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Season. Okay. Let's start with spring, which is now we are in spring season. In the night, we have 12 degrees, and in the day, 20 degrees, 18, 20, okay? The sea is becoming, is cold now, around 14 degrees, but by the end of the month, it will be 18, and during summer, it's 20, 22, the sea, I think. In summer, it's becoming warmer and warmer every year. In the night, it's 22, 22, and in the day can be 32, 30, 32. But we are near the sea. That means that the weather changes very rapidly. We are considered to have almost the same number of sunny days here in La Rochelle than in Nice on the Côte d'Azur. Okay, but the weather changes very, very rapidly. Sometimes we have rain for 1 hour, and when the tide changes, we have a modification of the wind, and the sea and the weather changes a lot. In winter, it can be below 0 during the night and in the morning, and then in January, February can be 5 to 8 degrees. So it's not absolutely very, very cold, but during the night it can be below 0.
So thank you so much, John and agencies, for coming to our episode today.
Thank you. Thank you. Merci.
Merci.
Au revoir. Thank you.
Merci. I heard this merci beaucoup, something like that.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, really? Okay. Thank you so much for coming.